today we're making a Italian Panzanella salad. And a panzanella means that it is sort of a toasted bread salad. So this is one of our 6 ingredient or less recipes. Let's go ahead and get started by getting we're not going to chop the lettuce quite yet. We're going to prep our bread for our toasted bread salad first. So what I'm going to do is set my washed lettuce right here aside really quick. And let's get our bread over here. And I'm going to show you how we're going to make our very own croutons. So, you can buy croutons at the grocery store, but this is 1,000 times better. And one day I'll try and figure out a way for us to actually make bread together, but it's such a long process with the yeast rising that it might be tough to do. So what we're going to do is take our bread out, and I'm using my clean hands, right? And we're going to just tear pieces of the bread. We're not going to chop it. You can decide to cut it into squares, but Martha Stewart says to tear it because then all of the olive oil and the seasonings get in all the little nooks and crannies. And I have tried it both ways, and I like it this way better because you'll get some crispy spot, some a little bit tender spot. And I find when you cube the bread all the same size, it can get really hard and crunchy, and this allows for a few little soft areas. If you're gluten-free, you can absolutely use gluten-free bread. I've got a whole wheat baguette, so I like to always use a whole wheat if I can, just for the fiber. So I like to look at the ingredients, make sure it has as simple ingredients as possible, or if I have time to make my own bread and I've got some leftover bread, I will just use that, because this is a perfect way to use leftover bread. So I'm just organizing it neatly on my tray like this. And I don't have to make it too neat because we're going to toss it a little bit, but I want to make sure I've got enough room for everybody to get toasted. And I'm going to save a little bit. You can do the whole thing, or you can save a little bit for something else. Totally up to you. So once we've got our bread all torn like this, we are going to take some olive oil. And really the best way to do this isn't necessarily to drizzle the olive oil directly over it. It is best to, let's use a tablespoon or a teaspoon, so we really know how much we're getting. So I'm going to kind of push it together, because sometimes I think when we just let it glug out of the olive oil bottle or the oil bottle, you really do get a lot of olive oil. So it might save us just a few grams of fat and a few calories. So this way we can measure. So I'm going to just take a tablespoon and drizzle evenly as I can over the top. And I feel like the tablespoon gives me a little more control, if I didn't say that. All right, so I try to get a little bit on each piece. And then what we're going to do, make sure that's coming up, is gently toss that around. But actually, first, let's go ahead and season with salt and pepper first, and then we'll gently toss around. So I'm going to season with a little salt and pepper. And if you have some garlic powder too, this is a great place for some garlic powder. And I have fresh cracked pepper, which can be a little bit spicy, so just keep that in mind. Now I'm going to toss this a little bit. And you can either toast this in a toaster oven, or you can turn your broiler to high and really watch as it is being toasted. I would look at it every minute because everybody's broiler is different and it can toast really fast. So what we're going to do is toast these, then we might toss them around and see if we want to toast some more. And you can make these as toasty or not toasty as you want. So you can make them as crunchy as you want or as soft as you want. So I'm going to put these in my toaster oven. And if you've got the broiler, you can put that on high. So while we're waiting for this to toast up, let's do our little trivia. And today we're talking about romaine lettuce. And I've just got an easy one for us today. I've got one little bit of a challenging one. Okay, so romaine is one of America's favorite types of lettuce. So you might think, oh my gosh, I hate salad. But before you decide, let's learn about romaine. So, hi, this is Romaine, hi. So what is romaine lettuce? Do you think it's a vegetable, a fruit, or a bean? What do you think romaine actually is? What do you think, Katie?
Vegetable.
Very good. It is a vegetable. So you know how many things, sometimes we think it's a vegetable, but it's really a fruit. The lettuce is actually a vegetable. So, all right, true or false? Is lettuce always green? What do you guys think?
Is lettuce always green?
No.
Okay, so false. Correct. Very good. Some varieties of lettuce produce yellow, golden, reddish, bluish, or multicolored leaves. But look at how pretty this red one is. That's so pretty. All right, and then here's a bit, they all have different types of leaves and darker green and lighter green and different types of red. And then I've definitely seen like a reddish striped kind. So this is kind of a tough one. Lettuce is in the same family as A, grass, B, pineapple, or C, daisies. What do you think?
Grass.
Okay. Now, I would have guessed that too, for sure. But it is in the same family as daisies. It's an annual plant in the daisy family. How does lettuce grow? Do you think it grows on a vine, like a little small bush, on a tree, or underground?
A bush.
Very good. So it can be grown in the ground. It's great to grow hydroponically. And sometimes it's grown on an aquaponics farm like Trader's Hill Farm, where they have fish and they have, it kind of looks like hydroponics, but they use fish to fertilize. So lettuce came to America and it was first believed to be introduced by Christopher Columbus. I thought that was really interesting. But lettuce is supposed to be originally from somewhere in the Mediterranean. So the first documentation says that lettuce was grown in ancient Egypt over 6,000 years ago. So here's the lettuce riding on a camel over to the pyramids. He looks excited. And lettuce is very healthy. So it's great for helping us sleep better, feel less anxious. In fact, scientists tested lettuce against some different drugs, like pharmaceutical drugs, to deal with sleep and anxiety. And lettuce actually compared well with making us sleep better and feel less anxious. And it also helps our bodies fight heart disease and cancer. So can you guess, is lettuce healthier when fresh or cooked? What do you think?
Fresh.
Good, very good. It's best to enjoy lettuce fresh. So we eat it on salads, sandwiches, as a wrap, but you can eat grilled lettuce. So even though it is probably best to eat it fresh, grilled I have had before and it is delicious. So let's see. Oh, and you can use it as a garnish. And we mentioned all these. So this is what it looks like grilled. Somebody has some cheese on there. As a wrap or like a taco, which adds a lot of crunchiness, which is really tasty, obviously in sandwiches and in salads, of course. So we've talked about this. I like to go to World's Healthiest Foods to look up information about different fruits and veggies. And we like to use the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine and nutritionfacts.org. Let's go ahead and check our toasted bread.
It's our time.
Isn't really that toasted yet. So I'm going to put it in for a little while longer, but let's see, I'm just going to kind of toss it around a little bit. And yeah, see how you guys are doing over there. All right, I'm going to put mine in for a little longer. And we are going to start doing our chopping. So let's start working on our lettuce. And I've got kind of a cool thing to show you guys about lettuce. So you can either use your kid-safe knives to do this, or you can use kitchen scissors if you have kitchen scissors, which I don't think I have any handy, but it's really easy to just cut little pieces of it if you've got kids that want to chop. So what I'm going to do, all right, Katie, check this out, because I'm going to do something kind of interesting. I'm going to chop down this way first, but not all the way to the bottom. And this is going to kind of do a little bit of work on the pre-chopping. Okay, so now it's going to be a little easier for me to chop it into bite-sized pieces. Some people like to tear lettuce or use a ceramic knife, and I'm going to use my claw as I'm chopping. But I have found my regular knife is fine to chop lettuce. It doesn't discolor or bruise it or anything. I have never had a problem. So I'm chopping this into bite-sized pieces, and you can save the base of it and put it in water, and it will root, and you can grow some new lettuce plants. So I'm going to set that aside so I can plant him. So here you can see I've got nice bite-sized pieces of my lettuce already. So I'm going to go ahead and put that right into my bowl and kind of mix it around so that the green and the lighter yellowish color at the base is mixed in well. So I'm going to do the same thing with this one. So this chopping lettuce works pretty well with kid-safe knives, especially if you do it this way. It can be tough to use the kid-safe knives with really hard things like carrots. So I'm chopping this way, and I'm just making sure I get nice bite-sized pieces going this direction. So this isn't something people usually do. But as I was teaching people how to cut things longer first, I came up with this idea, and it really does make it a little easier to cut into the bite-sized pieces faster. And then I'm going to save the base of him, put him in some water, and that will grow. So I've got a nice base of lettuce here. I had 2 smaller heads, so I did 2 smaller heads of lettuce, but if you've got 1 head of lettuce, that's perfect. There we go. That looks nice. And I like making big salads to have during the week so that when I'm hungry, I might reach for a salad first before I eat other maybe unhealthier things like processed or packaged foods, because that I'll at least fill up on veggies first. All right, time to check my bread. So it's starting to look a little bit browner, but I think it still needs a little bit. So I'm going to toss it around again. I like it to be really nice and browned. It's definitely getting there. I'm not going to need to put it in as long. So I'm just going to maybe turn some of the pieces over. Let's see. This is like the easiest way to make croutons. All right, I'm gonna put it back in for just a little bit, not long. Now what we're going to do is chop our tomatoes. So we've got 2 tomatoes. It calls for Roma tomatoes, which hold up really nicely in salads, but I had these already. So I'm just gonna go ahead and use these little round vine ripe tomatoes. So what we're gonna do is cut these into wedges, all right? So we're gonna cut these as thinly as you want, or if you've got Roma, you can also slice them into little rounds if you want. So you would slice it this way because Roma tomatoes are a little bit skinnier. So you can either do wedges or rounds. It is up to you. And then I'm going to arrange mine around the edge like this. And I might need a couple more. I don't know if you can see that. I'm gonna, may not need the whole tomato because I want to just finish off my design. There, I think I just need, there we go. See how pretty that looks, you guys? Looks so pretty. Okay, I'm gonna eat that. I'm gonna save this guy for later. Before I forget, Gabby doesn't like olives, so I'm going to put my olives in a little separate container. All right, I'm getting my bread out. So I'm not making mine super hard and crusty. Let's see that a little better. But it's a little nicely toasted and brown. So I'm going to let these sit to the side and cool. Now, when you're adding your bread, what you're going to do is either, if you're serving the whole salad right away to a big group, you're going to add all of the bread and toss the dressing and the bread all together. Now, if you're only going to serve part of it and you're going to eat part of it later, you're only going to add your bread to the portions that people are going to eat, because otherwise, if you're saving some for later, it is going to get mushy. Now we're going to also do 1/4 of a red onion and add that in. I got this from my local fair delivery. So, and I've got my little compost bucket over here. I brought to bring it over. You know, I like to compost all my veggie scraps. So I am going to thinly slice, and you can chop your onion however you like. You can chop it really thinly, you can chop it into rounds, but I kind of like it like this, where hopefully you guys can see this, where it's just little slices. And I'm just gonna put those over the top evenly. I got 2 really nice onions from my local fair bag. And you just put as much as you want. I'm gonna do the 1/4 of an onion, and you can always add more later. Okay. I just love all the color. I like the purple onion because I like the color. Then I'm gonna put these over here. There's my 3/4 of an onion left, so I can use that for something else. All right, now what we're going to do is add our olives. So I am going to get a spoon here. Let's see. I'm gonna put my olives, if you guys like olives, you can put them evenly around, but Gabby's not a huge olive fan. So I'm gonna put them in a little container like this. And if you take this to like a potluck or something, and you know they don't like olives, this is a great way to do this. So you're just gonna put your olives right in the middle, and then you could put a little toothpick or a little, like some kind of a little bowl with it, or a little spoon with it, and then people can just spoon the olives. See, doesn't that look pretty? Hopefully you guys can see that. Now what I'm going to, and if you do have beans, I have some white beans I wanted to add. So before I do this, I'm going to add my white beans over the top. And I'm going to add those evenly. So the white beans are going to add a bunch of fiber and protein. And in fact, I wanted to talk a little bit more about white beans because I don't think we've talked about white beans yet. So white beans are filled with lots of vitamins, nutrients, and minerals. They've got folate to protect our DNA and our cells. They've got manganese to help give us energy and fuel our body. Thiamine to help our brain stay focused. Once they're boiled, they can be mashed and made into burger patties, sauteed, stewed, or eaten on their own with whole grains is a great way. January 6th is National Bean Day, so that's just a fun fact. So if you planted white beans in your garden, you would be harvesting them now, actually. And then we're also using Romaine, which has vitamin C to fight infections, potassium to keep our muscles working right, folic acid to protect ourselves to fight disease. And we're just wrapping up the season for lettuce, unless it's being grown indoors hydroponically, because it's going to start getting really hot. They do like it a little bit cooler. So romaine lettuce is over 90% water. So you really shouldn't cook it, you know, like steam it or anything like that, because it'll get too soggy. So you chop romaine lettuce, add oil and vinegar for a delicious salad. So that's what we're doing. And romaine is an American term that means long leaf lettuce. All right. So this looks so beautiful. I think that's about good for my beans. I'm just going to put those aside. And then I'm going to put my olives in the middle. So this is, if you're going to bring a salad to a potluck or something, this is the salad to do it. Look at how pretty that is. And what we're going to do now is add our toasted bread. And just, if you're serving it like this to the whole family, this is really a nice dinner salad because it's got the protein, it's got a whole grain, it's got veggies in it. So talk about the perfect recipe that has all of the stuff you need. So this is going into our 6-ingredient or less cookbook, which I'm going to be working on like crazy since we're going down to, we're going to have a little more time, and I'm going down to the 1 class per month. So I really hope you're going to be signing up for that. So, and if you made your lemon dressing, now's the time you can either drizzle it over or you can drizzle it on each portion. So that is totally up to you. But just keep in mind, if you aren't eating this whole thing right now, don't drizzle it. But if you've got a big family, then that's when you drizzle it, if you know the whole thing's going to be eaten. So this was so much fun. And I hope you guys are going to sign up for the June 22nd class. And it's going to be our usual Tuesday, 4 to 5. But we're just going to take a few weeks off in between. And we're going to be doing the sesame soba noodle bowl is what we're going to be making. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I have enjoyed every minute of it. And I can't wait to hopefully see you next month. Okay, so I'll